Hello and welcome to the 11th class with the Prenatal Yoga series, 20 weeks a term. 30 weeks pregnant this week, time is flying. Today we're going to be focusing on the spine, so kind of all movements of the spine, side bends, some open twists, some spacious forward bends and some supported backward bends. Before pregnancy, back bends were like my favorite thing to do. And there's no reason why we can't do them now if we prepare the body and we modify. They're really energizing and really opening for the front body. So I hope you enjoy. There'll be no flow today. I'm not really feeling the flow, and some modifications as always. So, by all means, if you're a props gal, grab your props, some blocks. A stool's a good thing to have. A cushion or more than one cushion for the end of class when you're laying on your side. And once you're sorted, you've come into your seat. And then before we begin checking in with the breath, just checking in with your lower back. If you've kind of got that duck butt going on, just rectifying this. Once you've found your comfy seat, invitation to close the eyes or gently have them a gentle gaze on the floor in front of you. And you'll just start to follow your breath. And you'll just check in with its natural rate, rhythm, the depth, noticing if it's easeful or not. Noticing where you feel the breath more in your body. Following the breath for just a few more rounds. We'll take a big breath in and out together. And we'll start one-to-one breathing. Inhale for a count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4. 3, 2, 1. Continue. As always, if this is too slow or too quick for you, you change the rhythm now. Just continuing with even in versus out breaths. 5 more rounds of breath. And wherever you are in your breathing, we'll take another final big breath in and a full exhale. You can keep your eyes closed or gaze on the floor. You can continue this one-to-one breathing or just revert back to your regular breath. And we'll begin to do some shoulder rolls. In any direction, just paying attention to the direction you're moving in. And we'll change directions. Okay. Reach the arms up, take a big breath in. We'll twist to the left. The left hand goes behind you. The right hand can come to your knee or anywhere, maybe to the floor just in front of you, off to the side. And we'll breathe normal in this open twist shape. Take one more big breath in and out. Unravel, arms back up through center, inhale. Twist to the right, breathe out. The right hand behind, the left hand wherever it feels comfy. I like fingertips to floor and pushing the floor away, lengthening the crown of the head. You've got 3 rounds of breath in this open twist. Unravel, bring your arms back up through center, inhale. Arms down by your side, breathe out. We'll start some side arms with breath. So the fingertips gently to the floor. If you've got really short arms, you can always use blocks. We'll just add the movements first and then we'll add the breath. With the right arm, we'll take it up and over to the left. You'll feel a beautiful, nice side stretch down the right hand side. So either through your hand or your fingertips, you can kind of press against the floor and increase this sensation of stretch in the side body and compression on the left hand side. Lateral extension of the spine. And then we'll round just the upper back, we'll think, and we'll bring the right arm in front of us, kind of like we're a little ballerina. Just a round of breath here. And we'll take the arm behind us. We're opening out, looking out over the right fingertips. And bring that arm down. We'll do the other side. Left arm reaches up and over to the right. And you can push your hips to the left. And as you do so, you can push the floor with your fingertips or your hand. At the same time, you're reaching your left fingertips to the right. So it's a beautiful stretch. Just breathing normally. Using the breath to increase the length, to feel into the body. We'll move into our ballerina style shape. like gentle rounding of the upper back. Your ballet arm comes forward. You're looking down gracefully, just around a breath. And we'll reach the left arm back behind us. Look over the left fingertips. Reach, reach, reach. Big breath in and hand to the floor. We'll go again, a bit quicker. Right arm up and over to the left. Then we round ballerina. Take the arm back, look over the fingertips. Bring the arm down. Other side. Left arm up and over, lengthening. We round. We open. And down. We'll continue with breath now. Right arm up and over. Inhale. We round, exhale. Open up your twist. Breathe in. And arm down, exhale. Left arm up and over, length in. Round out, breathe out. Open your chest, inhale and down. One more time on your own, using your breath to feel into your body. Lovely. We'll come into a butterfly shape. So the feet can be more diamond shape, more forward, or they can be closer into your pelvis. You can interlace your hands and then place them underneath the feet. This is becoming quite uncomfortable for me, so I'm just grabbing my ankles these days. Press the feet together. Oh, feel how this engages inner thigh. Press down into the floor. And then knees down into the floor. You're really kind of surrendering your glutes to the floor. You've got this neutral spine, the tailbone down towards the floor. So there's all this downwards business going on. With our hands, we're holding on to wherever we're holding on to and lengthening up and away from this. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Letting the shoulders be pulled down with this traction. We'll take a round of breath in and out. We'll add a little more movement. For the inhale, we lengthen. And the exhale, we want to imagine rounding the upper back, chin down gently. Inhale, lengthen, broaden your chest. Exhale, round upper back. Just pay attention to the lower spine. We want to avoid that anterior tilt. So trying as much as possible to make this movement come from the upper back, really feeling into the upper back. Continue with your breath and the movement, length and round. 2 more times. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale around. Last time. We'll come back neutral spine. We'll take the legs out wide into our wide-legged shape. We'll get accustomed to this shape. I like to bring my butt out from underneath me and just check back in with the lower back. Arms just behind your back. You can flex your feet to create a little more stretch for the legs if you like. You've got 3 rounds of breath here. Final in and out breath. If you are comfortable in this shape, then we'll begin churning the mill. As we churn the mill, as you lean forward, you decide how much lean forward you want, as well as back. You decide how much lean back. So that might be a little bit, that might be a lot. We do want to avoid, really engaging the abdominals, but just a gentle little bit back, little bit engagement. So whatever feels comfortable for you, interlace your fingers, and then you'll begin to imagine you're stirring the pot or churning the mill, one foot to the other and back, side to side, forward and back. You can close the eyes and really feel into this movement, and then add the breath, whatever feels natural for you. I like to big exhale as I come forward. Go 4 more times in this direction. Change directions. So going from the opposite foot to foot, forward and back. Using your breath to enhance this movement, to feel into your body, physical body, energetic body. Four more rounds. Once you've finished your 4 rounds, we'll come into a forward fold. So this is an opportunity to use props that you have. That might be a stool and leaning forward. It might be your blocks in front of you that you're holding onto, or the forearms resting on the blocks. If it feels okay, maybe hands to the floor, and just or forearms maybe to the floor, maybe not. An opportunity to really let go of the back, let go of the head. And just release tension in the spine, through your neck. You've got 3 rounds of breath here. You gently come back up through center and make your way to a tabletop position. That's all fours position. Alrighty, so the knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. That magic rule, if it's pressing the floor, in contact with the floor, if it's in contact with the floor, we're pressing down. That's what I meant to say. So pressing down through the tops of the feet, through your outspread fingers and your palms, broaden your chest, and then we're really focusing on length here, lengthening the tailbone back and the crown of the head forward. Take an inhale, lengthen, and on your exhale, you round your spine into the angry cat. Continue this. Lengthen your spine, broaden your chest, inhale. Tuck your pelvis, chin into the chest, round your spine, exhale. Continue with your breath at the rate you would like. Slow or fast. Remembering length on the inhale, round on the exhale. And you can continue this movement. Otherwise, an invitation for some free movement, inviting you to imagine that your spine is a snake. So you can kind of bend the elbows, you can move the hips, and just moving in a way that feels good. So that might be some hip rocking too, get the side body involved, maybe your head. There's no right or wrong. Just using your imagination, imagine your spine, the snake. And even if it doesn't look very snake-like, it doesn't matter. Just go with the feeling. Even if it doesn't feel very snake-like, that's okay. Couple more rounds of breath with this intuitive movement. And then we'll step the right foot to where the right hand is, coming into a supported lunge. If your knee's sore, this is a good opportunity to roll up your mat or use a flat cushion, or maybe you have a knee, you can buy like these knee pads. Otherwise, once you're comfy, we really want to engage. So before we move into bigger back bends, we want to really engage our glutes, and we want to stretch the hip flexors at the front of the body. Again, check in with your spines with this kind of anterior tilt. We want to just gently pelvis forward a little bit more. This will help us to stretch the left hip flexor here. And now engage, really squeeze your left glute, and you might feel an increase in stretch along the front here. Press down through the right foot, all four corners, and also the back foot. So you're really super engaged, you're super and strong, and then we're stretching up and out of the waist, lengthening through the crown of the head. Just a few breaths for some free movement. Keeping this engagement in your lower body, keeping this feeling of stretch. That might be, you might like to stay still for one more breath. Arms up over the head, interlace the fingers, release the index fingers, lengthen through the crown of your head, through your fingertips. Take your biceps back behind the ears if possible. And then as we press down through the front foot, the back foot, you engage your left glute, pelvis slightly forward, and we reach up, and against this, we've got an opportunity to take a little bit of a back bend. Imagine that the upper chest is pulling more towards the sky and your scapula are coming more towards each other. We want to avoid a big flare out of our ribs because that takes our back into this anterior tilt. So just imagining it coming from the upper spine. It might be just a slight movement, or quite subtle. Really try and feel it in the upper back. One more big breath in. You can have a little bit of a chin lift here. Arms down. Hands to the floor. And we'll take the left foot forward where left hand is. Any props you need for your knees. And then we engage, ground down through all four corners of the front foot. Press down through the back foot. Check in with your back. Tailbone more or less downwards towards the floor. Squeeze your right glute now. Once you feel you're engaged, then some free movement. And free movement might look like stillness for you today. Just enjoying a release in now the right hip flexor. Keep that right glute engaged. Lengthen up and out of this with the upper body. Just one more round of breath. as you press down, squeeze your right glute, arms up over the head, interlace your fingers, release the index fingers, lengthen through the entire spine, through the crown of the head, up through the fingertips. Take the biceps behind your ears if possible. As you push the pelvis forward, as you push down through your feet, lengthen up, chest up, scapula, your shoulder blades towards one another, maybe a little back bend. One more round of breath. Bring your hands to the floor. We'll come into a kneeling position now, where we'll take camel pose. So coming up on your knees, find where you feel most comfortable. That might be the feet flat position or the toes tucked. I like toes tucked. We're taking a modified camel today so as to avoid really stretching and straining the abdominal muscles. That means we put our hands to our hips. So you feel, you feel the back of the hips. You squeeze your glutes, push your hips forward. And as you do this, broaden your chest. Again, we'll imagine that the upper chest is lifting up towards the ceiling and the shoulder blades are trying to kiss one another. And this might be where you stay today. If you're feeling like you've got a little more, push the pelvis a little more forward, chest up, 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 up. Chin into that sniff position. Be mindful of how your belly feels. We don't want it to feel strained. Maybe you deepen your back bend. Couple more rounds of breath here, enjoying this shape. And we'll slowly come out of this into your child's pose, or a position that somewhat resembles child's pose. You might like to keep your hips high if that feels good for you. The arms can be where they like to support your head if that feels good. You've got 4 rounds of breath here, enjoying a lovely rebound after camel pose. A beautifully energizing posture, that one. Enjoying now the opposite motion, a little bit rounding in your back, maybe upper back. Take one more round of breath in and out. And we'll be moving into a downward dog. If you're not loving your downward dogs, there's a variation you can do against the wall. So you simply bring your hands to the wall and step back so long enough so that your arms are, a decent stretch, but they need to be able to touch and press against the wall. And then you start to bring your chest and head down. And this will create a beautiful lengthening through the arms. Imagine now someone's pulling your hips back. And as someone pulls your hips back, you're pressing the hands into the wall. This will create a beautiful lengthening through the spine. So you might like to stay there. Otherwise, we'll come into our downward facing dog. Once we get to downward facing dog, the hands at least shoulder width apart, spread through your fingers, press through the hands. That will lengthen through the arms, lengthen through your whole spine up towards the ceiling. Bend off your knees to release your lower back and maybe create more stretch through your spine. You can stay here, you've got a few rounds of breath, otherwise some free movement just to feel in to the legs and to your back today. Remembering if it's in contact with the floor, you're pressing.
engaging. You've got one more round of breath. And then you walk your feet towards your hands, take them wide, turn the knees outwards and feet outwards. We'll come into a froggy squat, so the weight's through your hands. Then you've got a little bit of free movement here. I'm going to press my hands into the floor and round through the upper back. No right or wrong. It's always lovely to a bit of a hip stretch. Super important for us pregnant ladies. All right, and then using the help of the hands or not, you can come into standing position. We'll take mountain pose, so take the feet at least hip width apart. Arms down by your side. And before we do some breathing, just checking back in with your lower back. What can you do to kind of take out that duck butt? Ground down through all four corners of the feet. Hug the shins to the midline and then broaden the back of the knees. Three rounds of breath here. Invitation to breathe in through the nose and sigh it out through your mouth. You'll do one more round of breath. Arms reach up over the head, a big breath in. Hands through heart, breathe out. Two more like this. Arms reach up, inhale. Chest up towards the sky, look up, breathe out. So there's a slight upper back bend in this movement. Last time. Keep your glutes engaged. Hands to the hips, and then we'll start to do some pelvic rocking. It might just be circles. I'm going to really get my spine a little bit more involved as well. So invitation to imagine that your spine, that snake again, using the help of the hips. And again, it doesn't matter how you look, it's just how it feels. Couple more rounds of breath. Before returning to mountain pose, palms face forward, noticing whatever you notice, 2 rounds of breath. Take your right palm in front of your left. We'll reach the arms up, inhale, squeeze your glutes. Release the palms, arms sweep, breathe out. The left palm in front now, arms reach up. See if you can get the biceps behind your ears and sweep. Right palm in front, inhale. Arms back, sweep. Left palm in front, inhale, arms up. Arms back, they sweep, breathe out. We add on a little bit. Right palm in front, inhale, up. Arms back, sweep, exhale. Keep the left arm down, right arm up and over, inhale. Arms down, breathe out. Left palm in front, arms reach up, inhale. Sweep back, breathe out. Arms reach up, inhale. Side bend to the right. Arms reach up, inhale. Arms down. Right palm in front, arms reach up. Sweep the arms back. Left palm in front, arms up. We twist to the left, arms go where they like. Arms reach back up, inhale. Arms down, breathe out. Right palm in front, arms up. Keep the glutes squeezed, lengthen up out of the crown of the head. Sweep, breathe out. Left palm forward. Twist to the right. Arms reach up, inhale. And arms down, breathe out. We'll take some side bends again. So right arm reaches up and over to the left as you push your hips to the right. Take a big breath in. And arms down, hips back to neutral. Other side, left arm reaches up and over as you push your hips left. And arms down. Now a little bit free movement. So you can breathe in a way that feels good. And you kind of might come into a bit more sway with the body, upper body. So side bends, but using the arms kind of like a little bit of a dance. A few more rounds of breath here. There's no right or wrong. I don't even really know what I'm doing to explain. So there's no right or wrong. Your body has a lovely dance too. All right, after your final breath out, we'll take a bit of a morning stretch. Arms reach up, interlace the fingers, turn the palms up. Lengthen up. Oh, maybe a big yawn. And to challenge our balance, press up through the toes and the balls of the feet. Press into the floor. As you press down, lengthen up against this through the crown of the head, through the hands. Maybe look up to challenge your balance. And we'll come down. Stork pose, ground down through the left foot, all four corners. Engage your left glute, squeeze it. Right knee lifts up. So we keep the left glute engaged. We want to engage the hip flexor too, or this is like another back bend. Press down the hands into the thigh and then the thigh against this, and you feel this activation of your hip flexor. Ooh. Keep the left glute turned on. One more round of breath. Alrighty, then we'll bend the right knee. Grab the foot with your hand, just a normal grip. And we'll ground down through the left foot, squeeze the left glute, and maybe just here pulling the heel into your butt to get a nice stretch through your thigh. Left arm reaches up. This is where you might stay. Otherwise, you can come into dances. You can gently bend the left knee and you kick the right foot into the right hand, opening this shoulder, imagining the two hip points, they're headlights shining down towards the floor. A few rounds of breath here. You can always use a wall for balance. Try and feel this in the upper back as much as possible. One more round of breath. We'll slowly release. Maybe a little shake of your legs. We'll ground down through all four corners of the right foot. Squeeze your right glute on. Come into stalk with this leg. Get the hands and press them against the thigh into the hands to engage the hip flexor. Keep the right glute squeezed. Couple breaths here. Beautiful. We want to keep this engagement. We'll come into that thigh stretch. Bend the knee, grab your foot, just a regular grip. Ground down through, keep grounding through that right foot, the right glute engaged. Maybe just for now, pulling the heel in towards your butt. Right arm reaches up. You can stay here or begin to slowly bend your right knee, kick back into your hand, left foot into left hand. We'll open this left shoulder. As you reach forward against this, try and imagine sensation in the upper back bend in the upper back. Couple more rounds of breath. And you slowly release that one. And we'll do a little bit of a shake out of the arms. Alrighty, slowing that down. We'll take our legs really nice and wide. It might be another opportunity to grab your stool or your blocks. We're coming into a forward fold. You can have the knees bent. So gently come down towards the floor, hands to floor if it's in reach. Otherwise, your hands on some blocks. The aim is we just want to really be able to let this head go, or maybe on a stool as well is another good option. So this forward fold is a really beautiful way to remove tightness and tension from the shoulders and the upper back. We'll take another 4 rounds of breath. Press through the feet. Keep pressing as you lift the hips up and away from this. Let the crown of your head drape towards the floor. Hands are as much forward as you need to create that space for your baby. We'll take one more round of breath, a full breath in and a full breath out. We'll come back into a froggy squat. Bring the feet a little closer. Take the weight through the hands. And an option to stay in your froggy squat, otherwise moving into a more traditional squat. As you come towards the later stages of pregnancy, best to support your squat. So you can do this on a block or just stay in your froggy squat. We'll take a few more rounds of breath. If you've used a prop, take the weight back through the hands to remove. And then we'll come back butt to the floor. We'll take a little animal sequence, or this is animal pose. So we'll start with our legs in butterfly, and then we'll shift the weight to the left, and we'll take this leg behind us so the knee comes forward and the foot behind us. So now we've got one leg in external rotation and one leg in internal rotation. From here, we reach the arms up, inhale, We'll twist to the left, breathe out. Hands come to the floor, or maybe right hand to leg, wherever you feel comfy. We've got a few rounds of breath here. Twists are excellent for the spine. Relieving not just physical kinks and knots, but energetic. All right, ground down through your left hand. The right hand's going to reach forward, and you have the option to press through your left hand as you lift the hips, push the hips forward and up, and you can reach more forward or you can reach more up and back. Just paying attention to how your abdomen feels. We don't want to strain it too much. One full breath in, and we'll slowly lower down. We'll do that a bit quicker. Arms reach up, inhale. Twist to the left, breathe out. Ground down through your left hand. Little back bend, it's like a half camel. Breathe in and down, breathe out. Last time, arms reach up, inhale. Twist, exhale. Ground and back bend, inhale. To the floor, breathe out. Arms reach up, inhale. Hands to the floor, either side of the knee. And then you have the option to kind of take this leg back a little bit. Almost like it's a variation of pigeon pose. So getting a nice opening across the front of the hip. I'm going to move both my hands. They're towards the left, but they're inside just to make space for baby. You can come onto the forearms if this isn't compressing your belly, or a block might be another good one. And we're having a bit of a forward bend here too, forward fold. So a lovely kind of release through your hips, pelvis, legs, as well as through the upper back and the head. A few more rounds of breath. Take one more breath in and a full breath out. Use the help of the hands to come back up, and we'll change sides. So the right foot forward, opening into that external rotation, and then this left knee will come forward to meet the foot. And then getting comfortable in this shape here. So you might need to kind of adjust where your legs are. All right, arms reach up, big breath in. Twist to the right. You've got a few rounds of breath here. I love pushing fingertips to floor and your butts to the floor, and you lengthen against this, up and away from this, lengthening through the spine. One more round of breath. You begin to ground through the right hand behind you. That left arm comes forward, and maybe you're just kind of pushing the hips forward in this position. Otherwise, the hips press forward and you take flight, push forward and up, keep reaching forward or up and back. One more full breath in and to the floor. And we'll start that little flow. Arms reach up, inhale. Twist right, breathe out. Ground down through your right hand, backward bend, hips forward and up, inhale. And back to the floor, breathe out. Last time, arms reach. Twist. Ground and lift. Arms reach up, a big breath in. Hands to the floor, maybe either side, that right knee or inside, and then you can adjust. So I'm taking this leg back a little bit as if I'm going to come into pigeon, but I'm keeping my legs in this shape. And you can stay up on your hands, or you can come down, maybe using the help of a block to keep space for baby. And then invitation to let go of the head. Enjoying where you feel the release of tension in this shape. Let go your head, your jaw. And 3 more rounds of breath. One more full breath in. And a full breath out. Use the help of the hands to come up. We'll move the block aside. And then we'll come we're about to come onto our back. We'll just take some windscreen wipers with the hands behind us. So the feet wide or closer together, whatever feels good for you. And then whenever you're ready, we'll lower down onto the forearms and then onto the back. For our final backward bend, a nice symmetrical shape, our bridge pose. We'll press down through both feet and we'll lift the hips up. Squeeze your glutes, engage. And again, we're not aiming for height. I like to walk the shoulders underneath me a little bit more. You can take a bind with your hands. Really press through the feet, squeeze your glutes. And you've got 3 more rounds of breath. We'll release the bind and slowly come all the way down to the floor. From here, some windscreen wipers. And then we'll take a recline twist, more just from the hips down though. So we'll keep the feet on the floor for the moment, the knees are bent, and you'll let the knees fall to the left. And then you might kind of ease up on the feet, might like to take them a little wider. Just let the legs fall where they want to fall. And then you choose where you place the hands, perhaps on your belly, if this feels good. I generally like to stretch out, and some people like to bring their arms above the head. You've got 5 rounds of breath here. You take another full round of breath. bring your hips back through center. A little windscreen wiper if you need it. Engage the glutes, maybe a little semi-bridge. And then we'll let the knees fall to the left. And then again, just kind of let the legs go where they want to go, the feet go where they want to go. And choose where you want your arms. And once you've found your spot, 5 rounds of breath. Beautiful breath. We'll take one more full round of breath. And we'll bring the feet back, flat on the floor, hips back to neutral. And again, just any movement that you need to kind of iron out the lower back, to release any kind of sense of fragility or discomfort there. So free movement, just for a few rounds of breath, perhaps a happy baby, any movement. And then when you're ready, you come into your final resting place, remembering in the 3rd trimester, laying on your back, contraindicated. So you might like to take, you could say reclined on your back with the support of bolsters or cushions. Otherwise, you come into side lying on your left-hand side. Maybe something for your head and even a cushion for in between the legs. Or a block. And then there's nothing to do here. Let go of the class. You can leave a hand on your belly if this is time for you to connect with baby. Feel comfortable. And then completely relax. The floor is supporting you, your props are supporting you. Perhaps you're using your breath to continue to support you, using the exhales to let go, invitation to let go. Always an invitation, no expectation. Otherwise, you can let go of the breath. Just be as you are. With baby. Completely relax.
You can stay here as long as you like. If you do need to get on up and moving the rest of your day, you start to lengthen your breath, focusing on the inhales to energize. And as you deepen your breath, just starting to take some littler movements of the fingers and toes that might turn into bigger movements, all in preparation to come back up to a seat to close practice in your own time. Really important to always acknowledge your efforts. Really great work. You should feel proud of yourself. Thank you so much for practicing with me. It's a pleasure. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.